Welcome to Aha Moments, the podcast where we explore the breakthroughs and insights that shape our professional journeys. Whether you're a new teacher finding your way or a seasoned educator seeking fresh ideas, we've got you covered. In each episode, we dive into the hearts and the minds of our very own Pinellas County teachers and share challenges, triumphs, tips, and strategies. Get ready to be inspired, learning something new, and experience your very own aha moments.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Aha Moments. I'm your host, Robin Ford, and I'm joined today by the superb mentoring team from Safety Harbor Middle School. We have our co-host and lead mentor, Emma Johnson.
Hi, everyone.
Excellent. We also have the inspiring mentor, Natalie Estes.
Hello.
And our remarkable mentee, Emily Gillis.
Hi.
Excellent. Natalie, we're going to jump right in and start with you.
Okay.
What inspired you to become a mentor?
So initially, it was kind of thrust upon me when I was in my previous school system. I'm on year 19 right now, and I taught 12 years of high school biology and physical science. And it kind of just fell into my lap. We had a new teacher. They needed someone. She was actually an ELA teacher. And so that's the initial, hey, we need you to do this sort of thing. You're 6 years in, go. And I was like, okay. And then after moving to Pinellas, there was an opportunity 2 years ago, I want to say, that at Safety Harbor to mentor another science teacher. And at that point, I was approached by our lead mentor to take on that role. And I said, okay, well, I've done this before. I'd had a student teacher back in Georgia as well. So I was like, okay. And I went through the training and did that. So that's kind of how we got there. And then Emma asked officially if I would be Emily's mentor this year, because last year, Emily came mid-year to replace a teacher that went into retirement in December, and she was coming straight out of college. And I said, oh, we're going to have her by us. And so we had her move from the 7th grade wing over to the 8th grade wing. And I kind of just was like, we're going to make sure she's supported. And I just took it upon myself, if you will, and not officially until this year, but that's kind of how we got there.
Absolutely. And especially with Miss Estes and Miss Gillis, like she was saying, with Miss Gillis coming in partway through the year last year, I definitely came in mentoring situation maybe wasn't the strongest for me. And so I was like, we got to make sure that this is solid. And so even though Miss Gillis is not on that 8th grade team anymore, you guys are definitely collaborating all the time. And so it's awesome to see for sure.
That is really great to hear. Emily, have you ever had a mentor before?
Never before Natalie, but definitely Natalie's been a big role in me developing as a teacher. So yeah.
Have you ever had a coach before?
Yes, I've played basketball my whole life, so I've always had a coach. I guess those were my mentors, but they have definitely always supported me and helped me grow as a person.
Yeah. Can anyone else speak to the impact of being mentored or having a coach? Because I think those are pretty similar.
So I also grew up playing sports. I played softball for a while. I did dance. I did all of the things that I could. And I think that having somebody in your corner, whether it's a coach, whether it's just another person who has had that experience and can speak to you and say, hey, I see that maybe you're struggling today. Here's a way to fix this. Or even just have like a kind word of encouragement. It makes a world of difference. And I'm sure you guys can agree. Some days you just need somebody to be like, I see you, you're doing okay. And that can spur you on to do your best and be the best version of yourself.
I agree. I've had several mentors throughout my life. I also did sports. I was a soccer player coming up. I had a lot of role models in the community that were mentors, a lot of women especially, that kind of like in my church or wherever, who took me on and made sure that I felt supported. And then when I was in university, I was literally the only biology major planning to be a teacher. And so I was very fortunate to have an advisor who had been a high school teacher prior to pursuing a PhD. And that was my biology advisor. And to have him sort of be like, dude, this is what you've got coming your way, and give me some ideas of how to go about getting prepared, and what I was going to be facing was awesome. And then once you start, having someone in your corner, just like Emma said, is crucial.
Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely. So, Natalie, how have you supported Emily's growth? I know you spoke to it a bit as far as like making sure that she felt acclimated to the team, but can you see a specific moment where her potential shined through for you?
So Emily came in to a very, I would say, difficult situation mid-year. We had a veteran teacher who came out of retirement on favor to the principal at the time to fill an open spot. And the kids were very difficult to deal with. And so about midway through the fall, she said, all right, I'm ready to go back into retirement. So she inherited a very interesting situation where these kids had gone 3 weeks with rotating subs and that sort of thing. But she came in, and literally her first day that we met was the first day of second semester, because we did not have a planning day. Just like this year, we were making up from a hurricane. Mm-hmm. And so she didn't even get a day. We introduced ourselves right before first bell sort of thing, right? That 30 minutes before. And I was like, this needs to be like a day for you to just get to know the kids and do that for a few weeks. And Emily was able to go in and form relationships really well with some very difficult children. And that I was so proud of her that she spent that time and was able to get through to some kids that more veteran teachers had struggled with, right? And that was awesome. So
I think that's fantastic. So Emily, what's the most valuable lesson you feel like you've gained from this mentorship?
I definitely have become more patient with myself, because coming in mid-year, I was like, oh, I have to do all these things, but then you can't do all those things in your first few weeks, even your first year. So I feel like I definitely learned a lot of patience, and that growth comes with time, and that everything with teaching you gain from experience. So yeah, I feel like that is
patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good one.
And I have definitely witnessed Miss Estes firsthand showing patience that I've never seen in personally, for me, I think we've all learned a lot from that. And Natalie, how do you think that you've really come to be that kind of patient person in a classroom? Where does that come from?
I'm one of 5 children. I'm number 2 of 5, and I've had to be a patient person pretty much my whole life. You have to wait, and you have to be able to handle difficult people sometimes and wait through whatever it is that they have to work through, whether that person be a small person or a big person or whoever. And I guess just all throughout my life, I've had lots of opportunities to be a leader. I've been in lots of leadership roles. And I think that's a big piece too.
So I want to hold here for a second, because I think patience with middle school students is that's a nice thing to say, but I would like you to dig a little deeper and what specifically do you do, or what specifically do you encourage in mentoring to bring out that patience, because that can be really challenging.
I think you have to definitely make sure your mentee understands that middle schoolers are different from everybody. Have we all seen the meme where it's like the elementary school person is all dressed up and crazy, and the high school person is businessy, and then the middle school is the 300 is King Leonidas. So they are different people every single day, and every single minute, every class period, and it's drama all day. And having your mentee understand that it takes getting to know who these kids are and where they're coming from, and having them sit down and say, okay, I can't take things personally coming from a 14-year-old. Yeah. And understand that anything that they're saying, they're doing for reaction a lot of times, and learning how to step back and be the adult in the room.
Yeah. I think what you said is really important. The stepping back and realizing it's not personal. I think that's huge. I think that's really important. So I wanted to kind of just put a pin on that one. Emily, what do you think the impact is on your students?
I think it's had a positive impact on our students, just because I'm learning so much from Natalie. Every day I feel like I'm learning something new with the students, so I'm growing with them and as a person with them. Natalie has also showed me little tiny things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't ask her.
So can you give us like an example? It's like the latest little tip or trick or piece of advice she's given you that's worked.
Just to not take things personal.
Okay. Yep. I didn't want to put you on the spot there. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Natalie, how do you think that you foster student growth and engagement
In the class?
in the classroom?
Okay. So I am in the tested year. It's 8th grade. It's the SSA. It's 3 years worth. So we do a lot of looking at data and talking about where we are. We're doing a data chat on Friday. I had data on the board today. It was like, this is where we are. This is where we need to go. And we do a lot of goal setting and trying to say, I'm here. I want to be here. How are we going to get there? Right. And trying to have each kid know what they personally need and have them feel comfortable to advocate for what they need, whether that be this is the sort of thing that's going to work to help me, or as far as what your approach is to a lesson, or these are the specific strengths and weaknesses I have. I have kids do a little just check-in with me every Friday. If we have whoever I see on Friday, we do a Friday check-in, and they answer 5 questions for me and say, this is how I'm doing this week. This is how I'm feeling right now. This is something that was good, something that was bad, and this is how you can help me. And a lot of times it's like, I don't need anything from you, but it gives them a voice and lets them know that you're in their corner and that you're there to help them grow and help them get better. I try to, like on my door right now, we just had our cycle 2 mock. I have shouting out little hearts for anybody who had growth and their names on the door. Woohoo! And then another list of these are all the kids who are proficient. Woohoo! It's stupid little things, but I think they go a long way. Stamps, stickers.
No, I don't
crazy.
I don't think they're stupid little things at all. I think you're acknowledging, you checking in with them and really getting to know them as a person and tracking their data. Like I'm science and I'm data driven, and so that speaks to my heart. I love that, and that does foster that engagement and that hook. And probably when you get to know their students, kind of like what we were talking about before, leads back to being able to be patient with them when you have a deeper understanding of them and their motivations. So that was really, that was really great. So just staying with you, Natalie, for another moment, what are some of the challenges of mentoring?
So right now, one of the biggest challenges is that we are in different buildings again, and we are not teaching the same grade level this year at all. So we don't have the same planning period. We don't. It's finding the time to get together. We try to get together after our department meetings, our weekly department meetings on Thursdays, and just touch base. Then Emily was coaching. Woohoo! We are the champs for the middle school girls. You are speaking to the champion coach right here. Don't know if you knew that, but so she's been very busy with basketball all throughout basketball season. But we've trying to find the time to really get together and have a chance to provide the support needed. Try and shoot her a text message whenever, and she'll send a text message to me if she needs something. And a big piece is just time, I think.
Absolutely. And so that leads me to my follow-up question there, and you kind of answered it, but how have you guys found yourself being creative as working through these challenges when it comes to time or even just communicating with our busy schedule?
I feel like I always am open to texting her. I also kind of like wander around in the morning, and I'll like make my way over to her classroom and just like stop in there, even if it's just for 2 minutes, just to check in, just to ask a question or advice, or even ask her for some materials or something. But she's always willing to help me, even with the little amount of time we have.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of how it's going. It's like check in where we can. If I can wander over during like my block for planning, I might wander over and see if she needs something, provide her with whatever she needs and see how I can support her. but mainly it's the Thursday mornings is the best time. And every now and then in the afternoon after school, though, with our hours at middle school, not a lot of people like to hang around. So
It's a long day.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Emma, well, can you share some of your barriers, like as being the lead mentor, and like what you do kind of leading the whole group?
Absolutely. So we are definitely in a unique year at Safety Harbor with the amount of newer staff, either new to teaching or even just new to our school. And so building that community and building a climate where our new staff wants to, like, first of all, be a part of the larger community, that was our first hurdle to overcome.
How did you do that?
And so it started day one, like during pre-service, or even before pre-service, when we were doing a lot of the district trainings where they were coming in. I was there as soon as they got on the site. I was the first person that was like, "Hello, I'm so happy to I'm happy to see you. Here's a goodie bag. Here are all these things," and it's small things, but then establishing that line of communication where you say, "I know that you might feel like you are alone and you're in this big space," whether it's the big district or even just our school campus where there are 60 other adults doing the exact same job as you. It can feel isolating.
Yeah.
And so making sure that they know that they have a line of communication, whether if it's just saying, like, "I am one person that you know now, here's another person that you can know," and having that moment of making connections, but then establishing those mentor teams for our newest staff members. So like Miss Estes and Miss Gillis, I think this year we have 7 new emerging educators, and they are doing amazing. But so making sure that the mentor pairing is actually beneficial has been our big hurdle this semester for sure.
So I heard Emma talking about trying to build community.
Yes.
At least that's what I was taking away. So can you guys speak to how you feel as like part of this community at Safety Harbor, trying to grow and build all of these new teachers, or how it feels like being part of that little cadre of early career educators?
I will say the first day back, we had like an Olympics games, and that helped get to know everybody. Even so many people were new this year. So it felt like, okay, wow, I'm new, but so are all these other people. So we're all here meeting each other and getting to know each other. And Emma is always around. If you are on campus, Emma is there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she always goes above and beyond to make sure that all the new people are supported.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
Yeah, and I've tried to get around to as many people as possible and introduce myself where I can, even if we're not the same department. It's like, "Hi, new face. Who are you?"
Yeah.
I know we've had some mid-year hires that have been added as well. So just trying to get to know people and let them know, "Oh, I work over in Building 3 teaching this subject, you know, if you're ever here." Or just, and there's a couple that I'll pop in, especially some of the people that we started the year with that are new to the profession, that I'll pop in on just periodically and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? How are things going?" Even though you're not my person that I'm mentoring, it's like, just somebody checked on you recently?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
So
That's great. Yeah. Emily, can you share a time when your mentor's guidance has helped you overcome a challenge?
I struggled in the beginning with behavior management, which new teachers do. And so I was able to talk to Natalie and figure out times I could come observe her, just see how she manages just like little certain behaviors or day-to-day tasks in the classroom, which I felt like was very beneficial to me because I was able to like steal some of her ideas and her tactics.
So when did you go to, when were you able to do that? Was that facilitated through like administration, or were you able to go on your planning period?
I went during my planning period one of the days, and it was back in like September, and then I went another few times. But yeah, I'll just like go in there for even 10, 15 minutes just to observe, see little things that she's doing that I could steal and use for myself in my room.
Yeah.
And we definitely do have a system set up at Safety Harbor where some of our newer teachers, if they just shoot me an email, I am happy to cover in their class. I'm happy to come in their class. Again, just like you don't know what you don't know. And so being able to see another classroom environment and being able to step out of yours for a few minutes, you might just pick up like, "Oh, I see how you behave with this student, and I don't have that relationship, but now I know this new way to approach them. Or, oh, I like the way that your seats are organized. Yeah, I feel like I walk into classrooms and the first thing I'm like, I like this desk arrangement. But so you don't know until you are able to step out. And I know that our administration has been really helpful when it comes to also being able to find people that can be that coverage or can even just sit in a room for a minute and say, okay, you want me to look for these specific things and help coach you up with that. And so finding those opportunities has been major, I think, for a lot of our staff this year.
And having that administrative support is vital.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so Emily, how do you think that your experience with being able to go to Miss Estez's class has kind of helped your perspective on supporting others, whether it's other educators or even just it could be your students as well?
I think it has definitely been very beneficial to helping myself and me wanting to help others. It's given me a sense of okay, I'm not totally lost in what I'm doing. I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. So that's made me feel more confident in myself, which makes me want to help others more, which has been very helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Natalie, what advice would you give to others seeking a meaningful relationship with the mentor-mentee? So going beyond just, I'm a mentor on paper. Right. This is, fill out my sheet. Exactly. How do we make this real?
I think you have to be intentional in what you're doing. And just when you're planning lessons, be intentional, right? Take the time to get to know the person, and you absolutely must protect the data curtain. They have to be able to trust you. They have to understand that anything they come to you with, whether that be a concern about a colleague, about a kid, about a parent, about administration, anybody, that it's going to stay with you, and you are somebody they can safely go to and vent frustrations, or look for that you're willing and open to give them advice that's going to be good sound advice as well. So just having that trust and building that trust to start with, and taking time to get to know one another. Like any relationship, it's a relationship between two people. And that's, to me, what the most important part, in taking the time to really make sure it's working for both of you.
Yeah, so that's really good.
I think that intentionality piece is really critical, because it's one thing when you have the checklist of things that in a month you need to go over and make sure that, yes, I'm initialing that we did talk about this, but are you talking about it in a way where you're actually building on it? Or are you just saying, yes, Miss Gillis is going to come to my class on this day? Are you following up? Are you actually checking to see that things are working? And to what you said about relationships and trying to make these relationships last and grow stronger. Sometimes a pet pairing doesn't work for whatever reason. Maybe it's difference in philosophy. Maybe it's difference in scheduling. You want to make sure that both parties are getting something out of it. It's not just ticking all of the boxes. And so I think that absolutely is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to be the right pairing.
Right.
Because sometimes you're paired and it doesn't work well.
Yeah. So. It can't just be oh, you guys both teach science, so you must just,
right.
You have the same brain. Absolutely. Right. But so, yeah, making sure that there is that kind of cohesion where you both are going to be successful. You're going to grow as an emerging teacher. You're going to grow as a veteran teacher, because I think that there's a lot to be gained for both parties. It's not just let me make sure that you stay here. We want you to stay here. We want you to stay, obviously. But the end goal is making sure that we have a professional who is
right.
Yeah.
Best to see, not just a body in the room.
Yeah.
Yes, I know our profession's hurting. We're having trouble retaining folks left and right. And so making sure that the people we are retaining are quality, and that they feel valued, and that they want to be where they are is all very important.
Right. It starts from the ground up. We've been really lucky this year at Safety Harbor to have a lot of district support. For instance, professional development is coming later this month to do round 2 of classroom management. And so that's something that I think that it's amazing that we've been able to take advantage of. I think that anybody that feels like they need that extra support, reach out, because it has definitely changed a lot of the classroom climates that I've seen, even after one visit. Like just having that one thing that they're changing and they know that they're on top of. I've followed up with some of those teachers and I'm like, I see you're doing it. I see you're doing it. But so like having that district support, again, administration support is so critical, but then having that camaraderie amongst us. We are here. We are doing it together. And so it's all about making sure that we are doing what's best for each other, because if we're doing right by each other, hopefully we're also doing right by our students in the building.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I think that's great. And I am very excited to come back for classroom management next week. It's going to be really fun. But okay, so this question is sort of for all of you. Now that you're in this positive environment, the supportive mentoring environment, how do you see this affecting your view of mentorship as you continue through your life, or coaching in, as you move even outside of education?
Who would say it first?
I feel like mentorship has to be very positive. If you start, education can get very negative very quickly, but I feel like having a positive mentor can really change your perspective on anything. So, and it makes you want to keep going and not just like, oh my gosh, I'm drowning, let me just give up. So
I think that was great. And we, in this podcast, we like to celebrate aha moments. And that kind of sounds like it for you, that wanting to keep going. That's so hard as a new teacher. It can feel so isolating. And so having that support to say, I'm going to keep at this. And I think that's great.
Absolutely. I think for me, when it comes to mentoring, I'm new to the lead mentor position. And this is truly like one of the first times I've really taken this kind of leadership role when it comes to education. And so I think like if we're talking aha moments for me, it's like that managing of perspectives where I know that like for me, what's going to work for me, but making sure that if I'm communicating something and I'm like, I think this would be the best practice, it might not work for somebody else. And so trying to balance that and like not get upset and not get frustrated, because I think that's still a part of having like an honest, open relationship, is like taking that step back and being like, wait. Just because this is something that works in my classroom or on my side of the hallway.
As you were saying, it's a relationship, right?
Yes.
So it is a two-way street.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like that, I think that's really impacted me though, like in like my life going forward, whether it's as lead mentor or just in any sort of mentorship position, like having to take that step back and be like, wait. Just because I'm a part of this doesn't mean that I have a bigger part in it. It is totally even, and making sure to balance that for sure.
Yeah. And I would say just being willing to step into that role of mentor, because just because we've been doing something a long time doesn't mean necessarily that we feel like we're the best at it. And not to say that I think that I am, but to know that there are things that each of us can share.
Yes. I love that.
In that our younger teachers, or not necessarily younger, our newer teachers, our new to the profession teachers, our emerging teachers. There you go.
Yes.
They have stuff to offer too.
I love that.
Like, it's like the way things were when I went through my education prep program is not how it is anymore. So they're
right about that.
Ideas.
Yeah. So I think that's a great place to end it on. So I want to thank you all for the robust discussion around this important topic. But before we go, we're going to do a little lightning round with 5 this or that questions. Natalie, we're going to start with you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Classroom chaos or silent study?
Ooh, chaos. Let's go.
Yes. Teach skills or build confidence?
Skills.
Okay. Dad jokes or puns?
Dad jokes.
Big goals or small wins?
Small wins.
Yeah. Lead by example or lead by instruction?
Example.
Very good.
Very nice. All right, Emily, it's your turn. So first, projects or pop quizzes?
Projects.
Good. Me too. Share your story or ask for theirs?
Ask for theirs.
Nice. TikTok trends or classic memes?
TikTok trends.
Nice. Spirit Week or Field Day?
Spirit Week.
And finally, hallway high fives or class shout-outs?
Class shout-outs.
Nice.
Very good. So I want to thank you to my co-host, Emma.
Of course.
I want to thank the superior mentoring duo, Natalie and Emily. Thank you guys so much. And be sure to stay tuned next time for some more aha moments.